Good evening, everyone. How are we doing? Oh, thanks for the contribution, Simbad and GFLK Root. Hope you had a nice weekend. Right, I'm gonna do a medium Linux box today because honestly, I had a bit too much to drink yesterday. So I'm feeling a bit slow, so... Hey Fiona, how are you? So let's do Craft. I think it's an older box from Hack the Box, so let's just spawn the machine. Okay, so I can see we've now reached 25% of the challenge. So we have port 22443 and 6022. That's a weird port. I wonder if SSH is hiding behind that. Let's see, do we need a named host for this? Yeah, as I said, there is an SSH server on port 6022. But do we have a named host? Doesn't look like it. So let's see. Let's open burp and see if we get the redirection. If we do, then we can add it to the host file. Oh yeah, fair enough. I did not see that. So let's add that to the host file. Because we have a named host, I will want to run a subdomain scan as well, and we also have admin at craft.htb. There we go. Let's start the browser. Oh, wait, I forgot. I have a SOX proxy set up. That's why it's not working. I had it set up for the last stream, and so we already have a subdomain called api.craft from there. And we have gogs.craft.htb, so let's add those two. Okay. So we have some APIs in here, and they don't seem to require authentication, so we need to look into that. So let's keep that in the back pocket. Let's have a look at what's in here, because yeah, this is basically Git service. So if we can find, there we go, we find some repository. So this seems to be the repository for the API endpoints. So let's have a look. There's an issue. Well, we have a token. We need to take note of that. Let's just copy that. Actually, let's copy everything into a text file. We can test that from burp. It's not necessarily a problem, but let's have a look through the repo because I'm interested in the source code. Oh, this is what's the name of the TV show? These are characters from Silicon Valley. Why is there an eval there? Let's have a look if that is in the actual code. So that's API brew endpoints brew.py. Yeah, seems to be here. So this one requires authentication. So we have the token which we can test. And this is the API that we've just tested from here, the get one. But this one requires authentication. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, so we get the invalid token or no token provided. But what we can do is post that back to repeater and do copy this request header, add it to our burp. Okay, so it's still complaining about the token there. Let's have a look at the code again. That's empty. Where is it importing? Oh, it's from auth. Endpoints auth.py. So let's check the token. User, abuser, and expire. But what we can do auth login. Does this one require authentication? Yeah, that one requires authentication as well. Let's have a look through the code again. So craft API secret, that's the secret used to create the token, I'm assuming. Yes, so we don't have that value. Still getting invalid token, but is that? Yeah, so it's just okay, so we don't have a username and a password to log in, but let's have a look. DB HTTP test. We know we have a user table and a brew table. Okay, that's just database operations, which those are just database operations on the specific ID. Apparently the get entry does not require authentication. Let's have a look again at the issue. Yeah. Am I missing something in the token there? No, I'm not. Okay, that didn't work. Any 6 commits, let's have a look. So we have a username and a password here. We can test if that works. Actually, let's see if we can use it here. I know, because that requires a base authentication. Yeah, it is. So let's send that to auth login. We can remove that token from there and just do what is going on? Basic. And I think it's a GET request, isn't it? Yeah, auth login. Authentication failed, so the username and password is not correct. In any case, let's add that to our because I do want to actually get this whole script and test it out. Okay, so verify false. Okay, that's fine. Let's add a proxy, so we proxy everything through burp. So we have the requests there if we need to. And then we can just do proxies. Proxies, okay. And do that for every single request that we have. Let's check. Okay, let's comment that out because we don't need that for now. Let's just do the test itself. No, it's in loot. So token is valid, which means we should have a valid token in here. So why didn't... Oh, it's authorization, not authentication. Duh. Okay, in any case, we have a valid token now. Which means... Okay, unhandled exception, that's fine. So now that we have a valid token, we can basically reach the eval function in here. And the eval function basically takes in the ABV from the JSON that we send, and the ABV basically needs to be greater than 1 in that case, but we don't necessarily care about that. If we send in 1, okay, it needs to be as a string. I still get an unhandled exception. Close that off. Payload all the things. That's what I need. And it's something like import OS. No, that's for pickle. I don't need pickle at this moment. I just need command injection. Let's try this, but instead of code, we're gonna import OS. So import OS system. Oh, the token expires quite quickly. So I might want to switch back to Python scripts for this. We didn't get the callback. Maybe curl is not there. And we get the callback. So we do have command injection. But because the token expires so quickly, we might want to script that, but I think we're okay for now. So what I will do is, oh no, that's not my IP address, that's 48. O TMP chmod 777 TMP bash. Okay, and we need to move that into our exploits folder where we have the script. And on this side, we need a netcat listener on port 8443. So let's see if that actually wants to run or not. It might not want to run like that, so we could just try to send the whole command. Instead of doing the download, just execute the bash command. The question is there bash on the system? That's another good point. There might not be. So let's use another shell. No, that doesn't seem to want to work either. Let me just write some notes because I've fallen behind. So we have test.py. There's one thing that we haven't tested to see if this user actually works for SSH. Okay. Okay, so we need an SSH key for that one, and the password doesn't work for the normal SSH. Okay. Well, at least we tested. Well, let's do MSF Venom. I'm not gonna deal with bash issues. Pserv 80, and then in here okay, so we have the MSF there. Let's download it. And let's run those commands one at a time. And I'm assuming the token, yeah, token expired, so we need a new one. Okay, so that's been downloaded. And we have a session on the server. What? Okay, so we're in a Docker environment. Okay. Well, that makes sense. Wait, we can now get the settings for the MySQL database, and we can also get the secret for the JWT. Okay, so we have the JWT secret there, and we have some MySQL database credentials. Let's store those. Yeah, username same as the other one. And then we have the JWT secret. Maybe they're gonna come in handy later. Another thing that we haven't checked is if we can actually log into Gogs using this username and password. And now we can actually test multiple passwords. Okay, the username and password works. Maybe we should have tested this initially, but anyway. There doesn't seem to be any other repository. We have Guilfoyle. Let's copy those users as well. and I want to do pass. And in here, NXC SSH Craft.htb tag Q users tag P password. Okay, no. So that didn't work. What else? We know we have access to the database. We can check to see if there are any other users. Let's do oh, we have a DB test file that we can use. Let's see. Okay, so because we need to use the MySQL connector in here to get the data from get users. Pi. If I remember correctly, that was the table name, but let's double check that. Craft API, database models. Yeah, and we have ID, username, and password, and the table name is going to be users. Or user. I think it might be user. Okay, so what we can do Python get users.py. Yeah, so it's user, not users. Is that the same Yeah. So it's the same password, and that's only one user. That's weird. Yeah, it is the same password. And we only get one user, so there are no other users in the... Oh no. It's just fetch one. Okay, we need to fetch all of them. Okay, so it's just fetch all. There we go. So now we have some more username and passwords. So let's write that to... So we have Guilfoyle and we have Bachman. Now that we save those passwords, let's see if that works for SSH. Loot, not exploit. So none of them actually work for SSH. Okay. Well, then let's test here. Sign out. Let's try Bachman first. Nope, that doesn't work. Guilfoyle. Okay, so this one works, and we seem to have access to some new repositories. So let's have a look. Okay, so this explains some stuff. 6022 is basically the SSH for the Gogs container. And we are now actually in this one, because we're in opt app. So we have remote code execution over that container or API, but I think it might be the main app. No, it's API because that's where we send the request. Right, let's have a look at the configuration files that we can find in here. Vault. Okay, so they're using HashiCorp Vault secrets. They have an OTP. Okay. And we have a RSA key. Let's see. Let's try Guilfoyle's user, because he has the RSA there. Oh, was it encrypted? Didn't look encrypted. Okay, let's try his password. There we go. So we've managed to get access over SSH as Guilfoyle, and what the? Okay, so we have a vault that's pointing to a Docker container. Okay, so we are on the main host here. Yeah, at least we get the user flag. So we know we have Vault available. Well, we don't have access to Docker. Let's check the configuration again, because server dev. So the Docker Vault is running in dev mode, but we do know from the Docker compose that Vault should expose, where is it? 8200. And we have the Vault token, which allows us access to the Vault. Hopefully. There was something about OTP. With the default root of default user of root. Anyway, we can have a look at that later. Let's run linpiece. Okay. Because I don't want to run everything. I don't want to run the cloud checks. Here we go. Not sure why they've done this to the host file, but it's a bit annoying. They've added a lot of white space. Thank you for the raid. How was your stream? Thank you for the follow. I know you do hack the box content as well, so what were you up to? Didn't manage to catch your stream earlier. Oh, haven't done that one. We're doing Craft from Hack the Box. Oh, I'll have a look. How did it go? That's good. Have you done Craft? It's I think it's an older machine by the looks of it, because there's Python 2.7 on the machine, so. Yeah. So what we've done up until now, we've basically discovered an API, we've discovered Gogs with a public repository that had the Craft API, which has an eval function in it. And we've managed to discover some usernames and passwords in a database, and we've gotten to the user portion of the box. So now basically we're trying to get root. It's an interesting machine. It does take you from a lot of different places. So let's see if we can read the Vault configuration file. Okay, we don't have access to that. Anything in opt? Yeah, we don't have access to any of those. Okay. Curl HTTP Vault Craft dot HTB. Let's see. Wait, that's on port, on a different port. So we do have access to that, and if we look here, we can, there's an OTP there, but vault data. What other thing is bothering me is the fact that we have 3 known hosts. So I think that's his username. Yeah. I know. But it's worth checking anyway. Okay, there's no sudo. Right. Let's have a look at the infrastructure again. Oh. MySQL server, yeah, we have brew and user, we already knew about those. Nginx, that's the main one. Gogs, API. We do have Vault as well. Is Vault actually available from outside? Then. Interesting. Let's see. So we get page not found. Let's see, where is it? Because based on the Nginx configuration, it should forward everything to the internal one. Uh, So we have this one being enabled, and we have this one being ran here. But how do we generate the password? Vault SSH. Okay, let's give that a go. We have access to Vault. Role. OTP key role. Oh no. Mode OTP. Root. What's the IP address of the box? What role do we have in here? Root OTP. Okay. Let's try that. But no, because that's the OTP that we need there, and we don't actually have one. Oh no. There we go. We do have the OTP. It's there. I just cannot read. And we have the flag. Not a bad box. Any specific questions about this? Thank you for the follow. So I have to admit I've never used the Vault for SSH OTP before, so that's new. I had to look up the documentation for it, but seems to work. An interesting box. I'm not sure I would call this necessarily a medium, to be fair. But it's nice. It was a nice box. Some code review, some credential reuse. So we can close that session. That's a interpreter session. And I think that's probably gonna be it for tonight, because got work tomorrow. But I will be back on Wednesday at 9 PM GMT. And then Friday I'll be doing a hard box again. So that's probably gonna be a much longer stream than today. So since we got raided, let's pass it forward and see who's streaming, shall we? Thank you for the follow. Oh no, we just got raided again. Yes, thank you for the raid. We were just about to finish because we just finished the box. Thank you for the follow. So as I said before, I'm streaming again on Wednesday. This was a shorter stream, but we've managed to do the box. Well, thank you very much for the raid. I will pass it forward because we've actually completed the box. So thank you again, and thank you everyone for the follows. Not too many channels are doing cybersecurity at the moment. How was your stream, Rob? If you're still around. Or shall we do another box? No, I don't feel up for another box this time. Sorry. Okay, well, I'm doing the same. I'm doing Hack the Box content, and I'm trying to share my knowledge about how to get into cyber and how to do basically Hack the Box content, get to be a pen tester or red teamer. So happy to have you guys. Unfortunately, you came at exactly when I finished the box. But as I said, I'll be streaming again on Wednesday, so if you want, jump on and we can discuss more then. Thank you for the follows. Let's try to find someone to raid, shall we? Because nobody's streaming. No, not in English. Any suggestions for a channel to raid? Someone you're following, someone that's live at the moment. If not, I will leave you guys with another thank you and have a good evening and hope you have a nice week. Thanks for watching.